which is there on central bank website, savings accounts are not included. I'm sure if such a mistake was made by any bank, it will be reversed.
Mr. President, okay.
It's still on.
No, go ahead.
Stamp duty?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Fatoko, is it possible that the banks themselves will not understand the stamp duty? If not, why is it that they're not educating their customers effectively?
Sorry, you said, is it possible that
the banks themselves do not understand the stamp duty, and so they are not educating the customers on the application of the stamp duty?
But it's very clear, there are no ambiguities. Many of the banks have been applying this since January 2016. There is nothing, no ambiguity there. If you download the circular, you will see that the circular is very, very clear. It states the accounts that are exempted, it states the rates to be applied, and even states the amount, the minimum amount from which the rates will be applied. There is no ambiguity there. But like you rightly said, there is the need for banks to educate their customers so that they will know that this is what they expect when they do this transaction or when they do that transaction. Not only on stamp duties, on all the services that are provided by the banks, there is the need for customer education, sensitization, and enlightenment so that there will be no surprises. I agree with you on that.
Okay. Now, the card maintenance fee, what is being maintained regarding a card that the customer has to pay for after he has paid an amount for collecting the card? Every time you get an ATM card, you get charged, I think it's 1,000 naira or something.
Yes, it is 1,000 naira. We have to come to a realization that the banks also pay for these cards. For a bank to issue cards, the bank must have subscribed to the services of a card scheme. Card schemes are schemes such as MasterCard, Visa, Verve, and some others that we have in Nigeria. Banks subscribe to the services of these service providers, these card schemes. And these card schemes do not offer their services for free. For each card issued by a bank, the banks also have fees that they have to pay to the card schemes. And that is why the banks also have to do a cost recovery of the charges they pay to the card schemes from their customers to which they have issued the cards.
Okay. The other side of this is, the argument out there is that people put their monies in the bank, and the banks use their monies for one transaction or the other. They make profit off the people who make deposits, and yet they are still charged all sorts of charges here and there. Why should the customer be paying for all of these charges?
There are some charges, there are some services that the customers do not pay for, that banks pay for. For example, in your introduction, you mentioned the issue of ATM fee, which is chargeable at the 4th withdrawal in a month when you withdraw from the ATM of another bank other than the bank that issued you the card. The truth is that for the first 3 withdrawals that bank customers do on other banks' ATM, which we call not on us, the banks that has issued you the card will pay that 65 naira on your behalf. They don't take it from the customers. They pay it, the banks pay it to the owner of the ATM that the customers use. So it is not all the services provided by banks that customers pay for. I'm also aware also...
Mr. Fatoko, if I may come in here, did you say the bank pays that 65 naira that is not the customer?
The first...
Yes, for the first 3 withdrawals that you make on another bank's ATM, the bank that has issued you a card, pay. Let me give you an example. Supposing I have an account with Bank A, and Bank A has given me his card, a debit card, a credit card, or whatever card that I can use for electronic transaction. and I go to the ATM of Bank B to make withdrawals, the first 3 withdrawals that I make on the ATM of Bank B, Bank A, we have to pay 65 naira to Bank B for me using my card on their ATM. It is not the customer that will pay it. But it is when I do that for the 4th time in a month that I, as the customer, will pay. So you can see that even in that instance, my bank, which is Bank A in this instance, in this particular example, have subsidized my transactions. Whereas, if I use that card on my bank's ATM, I mean, since the ATM was installed by my bank, there will be no cost to my bank. So it is not all services provided by banks that are charged for. Banks also subsidize their customers.
Okay. Some people feel that the alert, SMS alert charges that are sent to customers are done rather, you know, not based on the number of texts that the customer receives.
Or even requests. Sometimes you don't request for it.
They're done arbitrarily.
I missed out on some of the points, but I heard you say that the SMS alerts sent to bank customers are not at the customer's instance in all cases.
No.
Did I hear you right?
No. I'm talking about the charges. The charges are done sometimes arbitrarily, not based on the number of texts I receive from the bank.
Oh, no, that can be cross-checked. Because according to the Guide to Bank Charges, which became operational this year, banks are required or directed to charge 4 naira per SMS for transactions initiated by the customer. If my bank is sending me an SMS at its own discretion, either to educate me or to inform me or to enlighten me, not to inform me about the transaction that I have done, the bank is not expected to charge. They are not expected to charge me. It is only when I have done a transaction, either a credit or a debit, and they are giving me a notification that they should charge. That is what the Guide to Bank Charges say. And if you notice that your bank is charging you outside this, then you should complain to the bank.
When
if
you
they
say,
don't listen, you can complain to Central Bank.
When you say it's a transaction I initiate, that means I do a deposit, or I do a transfer, or a withdrawal. But in the case where someone pays money into my account, should I be charged for that SMS? That's one. Number two, what if I don't even want SMS alert? Because now the banks are just sending you text messages without you requesting for SMS alert.
Thank you. SMS alert, there are 2 questions there which I will attend to. The first question is, are you the one that initiates a transaction? Can it be said that you as the bank customer has initiated a transaction when somebody pays money into your account?
Please just hold your thoughts.
Is yes.
Can you just hold your thoughts? When we'll come back, you continue from where you left off, please. We'll be back shortly.